If you're tired of guessing how to get booked out, I've got something for you. My booked out blueprint starts with a private 45-minute interview where I learn your business, your goals, and what's actually holding you back. From that, I create a custom roadmap showing your best route to booked out. No fluff, just clarity. It's only $397, and if you move forward into Booked Out in 6, my 6-mission program, that $397 is fully credited. Check the show notes to get started. Welcome to the Tiny Marketing Podcast. I'm Sarah Noel Block, and this show is made for solo consultants who want to get booked out without burning out. If you've ever thought, I just want this to feel easier, you're not alone. Around here, we focus on simple, sustainable growth that actually fits into your life so growth feels doable instead of overwhelming. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. We are talking about how to make content marketing just a little bit easier when you don't have a big team and you're creating content and you're realizing, I absolutely freaking hate this. This is not where I want to be spending my time. So Rachel is here with me to talk through how to make this maybe almost an enjoyable experience.
Imagine. That's like a crazy concept.
I know. Imagine marketing that you don't hate. Can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah. So I'm Rachel Honeyman. I'm the founder of HoneyBeBold. I help mission-driven female entrepreneurs build their businesses through bold and impactful branding, web design, and content marketing. And my latest venture is I've made my way into the coaching world, which it feels crazy, but also like supernatural. Like it feels like the thing I was born to do in a lot of ways. So I'm now teaching female entrepreneurs how to take control of their content instead of just doing it for them.
Yes. And she is currently filling her next cohort. So we'll get into the, actually, you know what? Fuck it. Why don't we get into it right now? Tell them what it looks like and how they can join, and then we'll get into.
Amazing. Love it. Just leading with it. We're going to dive in. So I am filling the second cohort of my program, Bold Content Collective, which is a 6-week content coaching slash co-creation program. We meet twice a week. There's a curriculum and there's a community aspect involved. And then it's just a lot of me helping teach my methods of content strategy, which is all steeped in brand strategy. So there's a lot of just kind of like figuring out who you are and what you do and why you do this. And then we create a shit ton of content. So it's just all about teaching you how to make that whole process easier and a lot more fun.
Awesome. Yes. I was telling you that I just jumped from one interview to the next. And that's what we were talking about too. Like, you create so much content in your business, or you need to. And for that one, we talked about how you can use it in so many different ways. Like, she was talking about how she compiled all of the content that she's created in her business to be the outline for her book that she ended up writing. I was like, I've never even thought to do it that way.
Yeah. I mean, talk about like, because I also have a podcast. You've been on my podcast. Like, having a podcast is just a gold mine for writing a book. That's my plan, is to turn my podcast into a book, because it's just like so much content that you can build so much from. So yeah, that's awesome.
So much. So, okay, let's talk about, we're talking mainly to like solo business owners right now, and they are doing client deliverables, they're running their businesses, they're stuck doing ops and finance and everything else, as well as the marketing and selling for their business. So how do they fit content into their day when that's what their day looks like?
Yeah. And I think that's why content marketing takes a back seat. It winds up being the thing that's like forgotten. And people, I mean, I think we have a very similar audience, like solopreneurs or small shops. And I think that what I hear a lot is that people feel guilty, right? They're like, oh, I should be posting on
Yeah.
Instagram or LinkedIn, or I should be doing this or that or the other thing. And part of why people have that like voice in their head that's just telling them what they quote unquote should do. Have you ever heard the term like shoulding all over yourself?
Yeah.
And that's like a I think that's like so apt when it comes to this stuff. Like people should all over themselves all the time because when you're on social media and you're scrolling through whatever, Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever your platform of choice is, you're getting all these messages about the things that you're supposed to do, right? You're
Yeah.
supposed to post X number of times per day. And I saw the craziest one the other day. I've seen some crazy ones, but I got an ad for this woman who was talking about how her program helps you post 10 times a day. And
No.
I was like, just no,
Yeah.
like don't do that.
I'm not
So like
creating 10
even
things a week.
no, it's crazy. It's crazy. So like this is what drives me crazy, and I'm sure it drives you crazy too, is like that people feel like they should be spending their time on their marketing, but like you have an actual business to run, right? You have like the
Yeah.
actual work that you are put on this earth to do, right? Like you have the thing that you are amazing at, and content is probably not it. So then it gets forgotten, or you like go through these spurts where you're like, I'm going to post every day, and you like post every day for 4 days, and then you're like, fuck it, this is terrible. Like I'm not
Yeah.
doing this ever again, right? So it creates this cycle, and then consistency is not even like it's not even in the room with us. Like that's just not even a thing. So
Consistency.
what
I think I knew her.
she looked nice. She looked
Yeah.
nice, but she did not come into the room. She was never here for very long. So
Peeked her head in and then just moonwalked on out.
yeah, she was like, nope, this is not the place for me. So I think like the really important piece, and this is how I help people really work this into their lives, is really understanding what is the thing that you're uniquely talented to do, and what's the thing that makes your brand stand out and
Mhm.
like actually lights you up, right? And then how do we build content in a way that actually leans into your natural gifts? So I have like a quiz on my website that I take people through the course through as well, which is basically identifying your content marketing power type, right? Like what is the type of content that actually feels fun for you to create, that's not going to be this huge time suck and is going to take you away from the things that you should be spending your time on, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of like identifying what's going to work for you and be sustainable for you and fits into your life and your schedule and all of that. And like consistency is going to look different for one person than it does for another person. And the platforms that you're on are going to look different for one person and for another person, and the types of content that you create and all of that. Like it needs to be super focused on your strengths and what's actually fun for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Too many times people are like, they join a program and they're told, like, this is what you're going to create and you're going to do it this often. And it just doesn't fit the way your brain works or what your superpower is. Like, some people are amazing at podcasting because they can, maybe you're really introverted and a solo podcast would work really well for you because you can just get your thoughts out. You're just in a room by yourself, you can talk through it, and then you're building this relationship with a lot of people. Whereas maybe some program is saying, okay, you have to get on lives or you have to go to this many networking events. It has to fit your personality and not feel like a chore if you're going to keep up with it.
Yeah, I just described this to a friend of mine who is in the fitness space. I have a lot of background in the fitness space. I was a content director for a fitness company for 8 years. So I have a lot of contacts in that world. And I was saying how it's kind of like if you start a fitness routine or a diet or something like that you hate, like
Mm-hmm.
you will do it 3 times or you'll keep up the diet for a week and then you'll drop it because like you're not it has to fit you. And so like you have to find a fitness routine that actually feels fun to do. Even if it's hard, it doesn't mean that it's fun every single time, but like
Yeah.
overall you enjoy doing it, you're going to keep showing up and you're going to keep doing it. And so content is the same way. Like it can't be something that you force. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have to learn how to identify like what's going to feel fun and doable for you and your personality and your natural, inclinations.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the first things I like to look at when like my own clients are trying to figure out what kind of content they should be doing is what's a realistic cadence that you can keep up with, because that matters a lot when you're trying to figure out what content to create. You can't,
Mm-hmm.
like, if you only really have the ability to create content once every 3 months, a podcast wouldn't make sense for you. You would have to pick a type of content that can sustain you by doing it only once
Mm-hmm.
every 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Or you kind of coming back to the other guest that you had talking about like what you can do with that content. If you have bandwidth to create content once every 3 months and you record a podcast episode, you don't even necessarily have to publish it as a podcast episode, right? You could just record something if that's easy for you, right? Sit and record yourself and talking about a topic. You can then turn that into all sorts of types of content, right? You can
Yeah.
turn that into a blog post and multiple reels on Instagram and multiple LinkedIn posts and whatever platforms make sense for you and types of content make sense for you. But like you can still milk that having only technically created once in 3 months,
Yeah,
right?
that's a really good point. You can create all sorts of content babies from that one
Mm-hmm.
thing that will fill it out. Like if it was a podcast episode, I probably wouldn't just publish that one. I would turn it into other things. And you can use the transcript for so much.
Exactly. Exactly. Actually, that's one of the ways that I help my students in this program like learn how to speed up their process. We use AI a lot and that's a big piece of the course is like teaching people how to use AI effectively and like make sure that they are maintaining their human voice and it's like human first.
Hmm.
But one of the main ways that I do that is I actually have them use the like voice mode on whatever tool they're using and just talk to it and tell stories and like tell what's a take that you have on this topic. Talk about it actually with your words. Like don't just sit there and obsess over how am I writing this and am I prompting it correctly. Like actually give it your spoken words because it's going to sound so much more natural, so much more like you, and it's just easier to create. It's just easier to like talk to
Yeah.
it and just it flows much more naturally.
That is really good advice. I was helping my husband with his dissertation over spring break, and I had him doing the same thing. I was like, you need to fill in this part of your dissertation.
Hmm.
So I just started interviewing him. Like I'd be interviewing anybody and recording it so we could use that audio to like figure out what to say in that part of the dissertation.
Yeah, that's so smart. I wish I had that when I was doing my master's thesis.
My God, I know. Yeah. I also did a master's thesis and it took me like a full year to do.
Yep, yep. I had I mean, this is very much a digression, but I had it took me 2 years because the first year I was working on like a particular angle, and then in my first summer I realized that I had to scrap it and start over because it wasn't going where I wanted it to.
You're
So
like,
yeah, I totally would have benefited from like having something to like talk it out with and then like
yeah.
have have AI like find the patterns and all of that. Like it is so helpful for that sort of thing.
Yeah. I love that advice because I wouldn't have thought to do that in content. It just occurred to me for him because I was like, I don't know how else to get this information out of here because I don't know anything about about this topic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think that we, especially those of us who enjoy voice noting, which not everyone does. Some people don't like voice noting, but I'm one of those people always that I'm just voice noting. And so I think that's why like a podcast is such a natural fit, but it also is just like a really good way to just get your thoughts out, and you have your particular take and your particular way of saying things, and that's going to come through so much better.
Yeah, I really like that. So, how else do you make it easy for someone to create content when it just doesn't feel natural to them?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is also showing. I do a lot of like showing people tricks for like, creating content. Like for example, the two platforms that we focus on the most are Instagram and LinkedIn, but the truth is that everything we talk about can apply to like literally anything else. Like, so we touch on email marketing, we touch on blogging, we touch on like whatever other platforms people want to talk about, YouTube, whatever. But those are probably like the two platforms that most of my students are focusing on. And so, for example, on Instagram, like doing a reel, people spend. I did a poll the other like last week on like how long people spend creating a reel,
Mm-hmm.
and so a lot of people are spending like 4+ hours on a single reel.
That's insane. It's like 30 seconds of content.
It's 30 seconds of content, if that, sometimes even like 7 to 10 seconds. And this is the problem, is that when you spend, even if it's, 2 hours, you spend 2 hours on a single piece of content, and then it doesn't get the response that you're hoping that it would, right?
Yeah,
It
then
doesn't go
what?
viral and break the internet. Then you're like, well, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
So so instead, we do like silly things like B-roll reel, where
Oh my
like you
God.
literally just like set your camera up, take a video of yourself typing on your computer or washing dishes or jumping, whatever. It doesn't even matter, but it takes no time at all. And then you just the piece that you spend time on, which again, you're not spending a lot of time because we're using tools to help us speed things up, is on the caption and the hook. And like those are the things that you want to spend the time on. The actual reel, like that's not the thing that you should be spending time on.
Yeah.
So it's just like silly little things like that you know are not so intuitive for people who, especially people who have been spending way too much time on their content and banging their heads against the wall, and they feel silly. They feel silly like showing their faces on camera even, or they feel silly like doing this thing, and it's like that's not the piece that is going to make or break your
Yeah.
content,
The
right? Like
hook
it's
matters the most.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Um,
really good advice. That so I talk all the time about how I don't create content everywhere. For my business, I'm just on LinkedIn, but for my fiction writing, I'm on TikTok. And you don't see me doing shit. I am not spending 4 hours on any video. I do the same thing as you. It's B-roll. It's like me
mhm.
walking into a bookstore or an author signing I had, just like footage my husband took. And I just take like 7 seconds of that, or a concert I was at. It's 7 seconds of it and put a good hook on it. And then an
Yep.
SEO rich caption and shipped.
Yeah, exactly. Like content should not be taking you that long. And so yeah, that's one piece of it. And then like I said, the really leaning into what feels most natural to you. So like if you're an educator by nature, right? You love to teach, don't don't try to do the silly dancing reels, right? Like that
Yeah.
people say that you're supposed to do. Like don't do that, right? That's not going to feel good to you. It's going to feel disingenuous. Like
Mm-hmm.
lean into your natural gifts as a teacher. If you are, if you're naturally the other side, if you're naturally like an entertainer, right? You love to entertain your audience, then like doing a talking head reel where you're teaching something is probably not going to be the thing
Yeah.
that
You're the
feels most
personality
natural.
hire of your own life.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, I think that that's really what is key. And then the other piece that is really important to that we lean into here is helping people feel comfortable really showing up as themselves, right? And so that takes work to really even understand who they are and really getting to the core of what makes them different. And I focus on identity pillars, like really what are the pillars of your brand.
Mm-hmm.
And then that forms like our pillars for our content, and that forms like how we create that. And so once people unearth that, and it's like the layers kind of coming off of the onion, they feel more and more comfortable leaning into those parts of themselves that they have felt really uncomfortable sharing. And then it becomes really fun, right? Because
Yeah.
they actually see the results. They see people actually flocking to them because they're showing up as their true selves and their full selves, and people just want to connect with them. So that becomes a lot more fun, right?
Yeah. And the other thing I want to highlight here is when you start showing up really authentically in your content, you're going to start attracting people that you love working with and repelling the
Mm-hmm.
ones that you wouldn't have wanted to work with anyway. So there's that extra
Totally.
benefit.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it was the most stark thing that I noticed when I started showing up like very authentically in my content was just I just had more and more of the people that I wanted to work with coming to me and
Yeah.
saying like, I love your vibe, like I love how real you are. I relate to pieces that you've shared, and I share a lot. Like I'm an open book on in my content. So like really, vulnerable things and silly things and superhuman things, and people connect with that because they relate and they want to work with me because they see themselves in me, and that is really true across the board. People see that, and they want to connect with someone who is like them.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. And then it becomes a lot easier too, like you were saying, to create that content because you're not trying to force yourself to fit in a box that you think you need to fit in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that that's a really big piece, right? Is that so many of us have spent so long thinking we had to make our content a certain way, right?
Yeah.
Even, I have a lot of experience. I've been in the SEO space for, I don't know, 15 years or so. Obviously, SEO has changed a lot in that time, but I just remember the days of like all of us trying to keyword stuff, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
remember that
how do we
too.
how do we make this article like hit all the keywords, right? And I think so many of us still have this idea of like content has to follow a certain formula, and actually that is not the case at all. And one of the very positive things about the changes in SEO now is that because there's this emphasis on AI and optimizing for AI, and this is this is true really across the board on social media and on your website and wherever it might be. But all it is and I think SEO has probably always been this way, but really digging into user intent and thinking about the human on the other side of the screen and how can I connect with that human on the other side of the screen. And it really takes like putting yourself in their shoes in such a deep way and thinking about like what would I be asking my AI tool if I wanted help with this? Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's really powerful because it allows us to kind of break out of the formula and instead just think about how do I connect with the human on the other side of the screen.
I, a week or two ago, I interviewed someone who she's deep in AI in a weird way. Like she's a journalist and learned about how like AI uses syndication, and she like helped train AI. And one of the things she was saying is like deeply personal experiences are important for AI because that's not something that they can replicate. So it will more likely suggest your article sharing something that happened to you than it would something else that's more like the keyword stuffing kinds of articles that we wrote 10 years ago because of that, because it can't replicate being a human.
Yeah, yeah, I think that is such a good point. And it also comes back to kind of what I was talking about, where you like open the voice note app, or not app, but voice note feature on the AI, and just tell it your stories, tell it, the stories with your clients, the stories that only you have, and the experiences that only you have. And that is going to just make it so much better. Like the output is going to be so much better. So it kind of works in both directions. It helps the AI like surface much more unique content, which is what it's looking for. And then it also helps you create content that is actually sounds like you and is actually addressing what your dream clients are looking for.
And I know that that was the last thing on our list today to make sure that we touched on. Is there anything else that we should know about how to make AI sound more human and while still like making the process simpler and faster for us? Hey there, amazing founders. Ready to take your business to the next level? Join our Gateway Offer Challenge and watch your sales soar. In this challenge, you'll get mini Gateway Offer trainings to perfect your offers. Learn how to structure your documentation so it sells for you. Create buzz around your offer and identify eager clients with our sales training. Plus, get exclusive outreach templates that take the guesswork out of prospecting. And because selling should be fun, we've gamified this challenge. Who can sell the most gateway offers? And let's not forget, you'll also learn how to effortlessly upsell to your signature offer. Ready to level up? Join the Gateway Offer Challenge today. Your business will thank you. Go to challenge.sarahnoelblock.com. That is CHALLENGE.SARAHNOELBLOCK.com.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to if you have not gone through the work of understanding what makes you unique and what makes what you offer unique and all of those kind of foundational pieces, if you don't have an understanding of that, you're never going to be able to train your AI on that, right? And so I think there's foundational work that a lot of people just aren't doing. And so that comes through in their content, right? They're creating this content that we all like the second we see content that is just copy pasted from ChatGPT, like we all just glaze over.
Yeah.
We know it in a second. There are those telltale signs, and the telltale signs are not just M dashes and, certain sentence structures.
No, I love M dashes. It's like, it doesn't feel like you at all.
No, I'm very sad that AI has ruined the M dash because I love M dashes and I will still use them forever. Yeah, I will still use them forever, but I will use them a lot less than ChatGPT maybe wants me to use them.
I'll take the sword for you.
Yes. But yeah, it's not just those little telltale signs, right? Like this is a big thing on LinkedIn. People talk all the time. Like if I see this sign in your content, I know that you copy pasted from ChatGPT. Like it's not that simple. I think that it's a lot more about really understanding your own voice and understanding like when you read something, is that actually something that you would say? Like,
yeah.
Would you voice note that to a friend? And if not, like probably it doesn't sound like you. Probably it sounds like a robot, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important piece.
And like, it's okay to leave like sentence structures that are wrong, like intentionally wrong. And it's okay to leave in typos even because it just makes it feel real. Like if I
Yeah.
see that I had a typo in one, I won't go back and edit it. I'm like, well,
Yep.
I'm a person.
Yeah, I think that this is like in a lot of ways, the best time to be a really messy human. Like you
Yeah.
just, those of us who like don't necessarily have our shit together all the time, like is a great time
It's our time to
to be us. It's our time to shine.
Yeah, I gotta agree because when you're reading something and it's like, oh, I've had a connection call with that person. That's exactly how they talk. You feel a little bit closer.
Totally, totally. I always say the best compliment I ever get is when I get on a connection call with someone. It's our first time meeting, and they're like, "Oh, you're exactly the same as your content." I'm like, "Yes, exactly. That's what I'm going for."
Yes. Yeah, that really is the best compliment. Or I feel like I know you.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, I think, what we all should be aiming for. And if we do that, content becomes a lot easier because you're not trying to do anything, right? You're just letting yourself shine, right? You're just letting yourself come out, and it shouldn't take as much effort.
Yeah, it's not that serious.
It is not that serious.
Before we wrap up, can you explain the structure of your program and how people can join?
Yeah, absolutely. So we kick off on May 14th. It runs for 6 weeks following that. We meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 1:15 p.m. Eastern. I always forget to say the time zone, but that's very New York centric of me. It's Eastern time. And basically the way it works is there's a curriculum, very short videos. You are not spending hours of your time like watching curriculum videos. There's just 1 to 2 short videos each week to watch. In the Tuesday call, we actually do the strategy work together. So like the homework, quote unquote, we're doing together live. So it's all done in community with my coaching, with all of that. And then on Thursday, we're creating content together. So we're actually applying that strategic piece that we just learned and implemented on Tuesday, and we're just creating content that ties right back to that. And so over the course of the 6 weeks, our content kind of builds on itself, and our strategy builds on itself. And so by the end, you come away with a really clear understanding of what is your brand, what is your strategy, what is your content strategy, and then at the end we actually create a 90-day content calendar, and you have a really clear plan of what you're doing moving forward and how to keep that momentum going. So it's really powerful. It's not a huge time commitment because I know how busy the people I work with are. Like, you're all running businesses, and so I wanted to make it as like not as the least onerous possible, and it's just a lot of like working together and getting all of that done together.
Yeah, I like it's like lunch and learn time. So you're probably just taking your lunch anyway. And it's a small container. 6 weeks is not a huge commitment, but it's long enough that you can build habits.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also a small cohort. It's capped at 10. As of this recording, I have 2 spots filled so far. So if you're interested in joining, if you're listening to this before April 30th, I'm giving a very generous early bird discount of $500. So I'm sure Sarah will put the link in the show notes, but I'll just,
while you're talking, I'll look up what date this is coming out.
Okay. But yeah, it's at honeybebold.com/BCC. So HoneyBeBold.com/BCC for Bold Content Collective.
This is coming out the 12th. So they will have 2.5 weeks to take advantage of that early bird discount.
Amazing. Amazing. And if you have any questions in the meantime, please just reach out, and I am exactly the same in person. So just we'll just have a conversation and
Yeah.
see if it's a good fit.
As you can see, because we're just two humans talking, so you get a vibe of Rach.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me. Is there anything else anybody should know before we wrap up?
No, I guess I would just say, like, I'm on all the platforms, on all the things. So wherever you're hanging out, I'm probably there. So you can shoot me a DM and say hi.
Awesome. If this episode made things feel a little more doable, I'd love to help you take the next step with the Booked Out Blueprint. It's a practical, low-pressure session to clarify your offers, your marketing, and what actually moves the needle. You can book yours through the link in the show notes. You don't have to figure it out alone. Hey there, fellow founders. Are you looking to unlock the secrets behind rapid business growth? Join my vibrant meetup group where we dive into masterclasses on game-changing strategies every single month. We've tackled topics like building a lean marketing engine, crafting killer lead magnets, and leveraging gateway offers to sell high-ticket offers. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next one. Come share your experiences, learn from the best, and let's grow together. Sign up and be part of the next masterclass by going to events.sarahnoelblock.com. That's events.sarahnoelblock.com.